Have you ever watched a World Cup match where one team walked onto the pitch carrying decades of football tradition, while the other arrived carrying the hopes of an entire region desperate to prove it belongs among the world's elite? Because that is exactly what happened when Saudi Arabia faced Uruguay in one of the most fascinating group stage encounters of FIFA World Cup 2026. On one side stood Uruguay, a nation with a rich football history, 2 World Cup titles, and a reputation for producing players who thrive under pressure. A team known for its fighting spirit, tactical discipline, and ability to compete with the very best on football's biggest stage. On the other side stood Saudi Arabia, a team that has spent years transforming its football infrastructure, investing heavily in player development, and steadily building confidence on the international stage. A team determined to show that its famous victory over Argentina in the 2022 World Cup was not a one-time miracle, but evidence of genuine progress. As kickoff approached, many experts predicted Uruguay would control the game. After all, experience matters at the World Cup. History matters. Big game mentality matters. But football has a way of ignoring predictions, and what unfolded over the next 90 minutes reminded everyone why the World Cup remains the greatest sporting event on Earth. Welcome to the Sports PulseX. From the opening whistle, the intensity was immediately noticeable. Neither team appeared interested in waiting. Neither team seemed willing to settle for a cautious approach. Instead, both sides played with purpose. Uruguay looked determined to establish control through possession and experience. Saudi Arabia looked determined to challenge every assumption made before kickoff. The opening exchanges were fast, physical, and highly competitive. Every challenge mattered. Every loose ball was contested. Every pass carried significance. The midfield quickly became the most important area of the pitch. Uruguay attempted to dictate the tempo, using their technical quality and experience to control possession. Saudi Arabia responded with energy, organization, and relentless work rate. The Saudi players closed spaces aggressively, they pressed intelligently, and they refused to allow Uruguay's creative players the freedom they wanted. This immediately created problems for Uruguay. Whenever they tried to build attacks patiently, Saudi Arabia disrupted their rhythm. Whenever they looked ready to accelerate the pace, Saudi players were already closing down passing lanes. It was clear that Saudi Arabia had arrived with a plan, and more importantly, they believed in that plan. As the first half progressed, Uruguay gradually began creating more dangerous situations. Their movement improved, their passing combinations became sharper, and for the first time, Saudi Arabia's defensive structure was being seriously tested. This is where major tournament matches are often decided, not by who starts strongest, but who responds best when pressure begins to build. Saudi Arabia faced that test, and they responded brilliantly. Their defensive organization remained compact, communication remained strong, every player understood their responsibility. Time and time again, they denied Uruguay clear opportunities. But football is often decided by moments rather than patterns. 90 minutes of hard work can be transformed by a single opportunity, a single mistake, a single moment of brilliance. And eventually, one of those moments arrived. A quick attacking move caught the defense out of position. Space appeared, the opportunity emerged, and suddenly the match had its breakthrough. The stadium erupted, players celebrated passionately, momentum shifted instantly, and the entire dynamic of the game changed. Now one team had confidence, the other had pressure. Now one team could play with belief, the other needed answers. For Uruguay, conceding was not part of the plan. They knew the importance of opening the tournament strongly. They knew dropping points could complicate their path to the knockout stages. And most importantly, they knew expectations were much higher for them. Great teams are measured by how they respond to adversity. Uruguay needed a response. The next phase of the match became their biggest test. To their credit, they did not panic. They did not abandon their structure. They did not lose discipline. Instead, they trusted their experience. The tempo increased, the pressure intensified, and gradually, Uruguay began pushing Saudi Arabia deeper into their own half. For long stretches, the Saudi defense faced wave after wave of attacks. Crosses entered the penalty area, midfielders pushed forward, defenders joined attacks. Uruguay threw everything forward, searching for an equalizer. But what made Saudi Arabia so impressive was their composure. Many teams struggle when defending a lead against a football giant. Many teams become nervous. Many teams stop playing. Saudi Arabia did the opposite. They remained organized, they remained focused, and whenever opportunities appeared, they continued looking dangerous on the counterattack. This balance between defense and attack prevented Uruguay from committing completely forward. Every Saudi counterattack served as a warning. Every forward run reminded Uruguay that one mistake could end the contest. As the second half began, the match entered a completely different phase. Fatigue started becoming visible. The physical demands of tournament football were taking effect. Every sprint required more effort. Every tackle carried greater importance. Every decision became more difficult. This is where experience often becomes decisive, and Uruguay began showing exactly why they remain one of international football's most respected nations. Their movement improved, their passing became quicker, and their belief never disappeared. The pressure continued building, minute after minute, attack after attack. The Saudi defense was being tested like never before, yet somehow they continued finding answers. Every block was celebrated, every clearance was applauded, every successful defensive action increased confidence. This was no longer simply a football match. It had become a battle of mentality, a battle of resilience, a battle between belief and expectation. As the clock moved into the final 20 minutes, the tension became almost unbearable. Everyone understood the significance of the next goal. For Saudi Arabia, another goal could potentially secure one of the most important victories in their football history. For Uruguay, an equalizer could completely transform the outcome. The margin between success and failure had become incredibly small. And then came another decisive moment, the kind of moment that defines World Cups, a moment supporters remember for years, a moment capable of changing careers, tournaments, and national expectations. One opportunity, one decision, one finish. Suddenly, the entire stadium reacted, the scoreboard changed, and once again, momentum shifted dramatically. Now the match entered its most dramatic stage. One team desperately trying to protect its advantage, the other desperately trying to save its result. Every second felt important, every attack felt dangerous, every defensive action felt crucial. This is what makes the World Cup unique. The pressure is unlike anything else in football. Every player understands the world is watching. Every mistake is magnified. Every success becomes part of history. As full-time approached, both teams emptied their tanks. There was nothing left to save for later. Every player gave everything. Every challenge was contested. Every opportunity was chased, and the intensity never disappeared. When the final whistle finally arrived, emotions exploded. For one side, relief and celebration. For the other, disappointment and frustration. But regardless of the result, this match delivered exactly what football fans expect from a World Cup. Drama, intensity, tactical battles, momentum swings, and moments that will be discussed long after the tournament ends. For Saudi Arabia, the performance represented more than just points. It represented belief, and it represented the growing confidence of a football nation determined to compete with the world's best. For Uruguay, the match served as a reminder that reputation alone guarantees nothing in modern football. Every victory must be earned, every point must be fought for, and every opponent deserves respect. As FIFA World Cup 2026 continues, both teams still have everything to play for. The group remains wide open, the pressure remains enormous, and the story is far from over. Because if this tournament has already taught us one lesson, it is that surprises are everywhere, expectations mean very little, and every match has the power to create a new chapter in football history. What did you think about Saudi Arabia's performance? Can they qualify for the knockout stages? And can Uruguay recover and show why many people consider them one of the tournament's most dangerous teams? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy deep analysis, match breakdowns, athlete stories, tournament coverage, expert insights, and the biggest moments from across the world of sports, make sure you subscribe to the Sports Pulse X. Like this video and share your thoughts in the comments so you never miss the story behind the action. Thank you for watching. Until the next match, the next event, and the next big sporting story, stay informed, stay passionate, and keep your pulse on sports with the Sports Pulse X. The Sports Pulse, where every sport has a bigger story.